1, 2, 3.
Mute myself. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Perchy TV. I am the Perchy, and today is Thursday's question time. How's everybody in the chat? Big up to everybody in the chat that's been waiting. We've got the big Phil P. I'll pin your question, my friend, and we'll do the questions very shortly. If you big up Jack Patmore, big up, mate. How's it going? The mod of it all. Jacob, how are you doing, my good friend? How are you? Who else we've got in here? Big up Mark. Big up mate. Enoch out, of course. Big up. Big up Omi. Top guy. Big up, guys. Yeah, big up also if you're on big up on Twitch. We've now linked up with Twitch, so follow that. All the links are in below here. It's at the Perchy TV on YouTube, at the Perchy TTV on Twitch, and just at the Perchy on Twitter. Big up, guys. Should we dive into some questions? You guys have, if you've been sending questions, also put Q in the front for some questions. We'll answer them. We'll start some off. Jack Patmore, who are your top 3 signs like for the summer? I mean, let's be honest. If we're talking about anyone, then we'd have what, Messi, Mbappe, Neymar. I don't know, but if we're talking realistically, I think realistically we need a centre half. I think everyone can kind of understand that. So if we're talking realistic, I thought Jurgen Anderson at Crystal Palace. I think that's a valid, easy one that we should be getting hold of. I think we need a creative midfielder like a James Maddison, Alexis McAllister, who's at Brighton, and we need a goalkeeper. I think they're the key ones at the moment. Goalkeeper wise, David Raya from Brentford would be a good choice. Yeah, I think that's important for us at the moment. Is we've got to look past Hugo Lloris, who won't be here much longer. Big up for the question. Thank you very much. Anyone else also have questions? Hit just put Q in front of it and then I can pin them. Thank you very much. Phil P, the mighty Phil P. How are you? How much are you enjoying watching the Mandalorian rather than watching Spurs at the moment? Mate, I am so enjoying at the moment not watching Spurs. It is an absolute chore watching us play. We're boring. We're negative. Listen, it's actually fun watching other games of football. I think me and Sava are both touched on it at the moment. Ooh, 1 second, guys. Sorry, so sorry for that, guys. Someone decided to turn up at my door. Apologies. Well, yeah, just so go back to that Phil P. Mate, as I said, I am enjoying not watching football. I'm enjoying the quiet for now. I mean, I forgot England were playing today, to be honest, as well, but they're playing a bit later. But again, I'm happy for the bit of a break at the moment. Yeah, but big up for your question. Thanks so much. Have we got any more questions? Yeah, Enoch change for Tottenham. Yeah, I think we all know that, Phil, mate. Who have we got next in the chat? Woody Baker, an absolute legend as well. Big up, mate. What was the motivators of starting a channel? Great question, really. I've been on sort of guesting on other people's channels, working a lot with Sava recently. The guys on the Hotspur Hood I work a lot with, and everyone just sort of says, just give it a go. Listen, if it doesn't necessarily work out, then who cares? We can just end it. But I'm enjoying it. Listen, we're sort of into week 2. It's been really fun. But yeah, they were really motivated. It's just sort of, do you know what? Give it a go. It's a bit of an opportunity to give something a go. So yeah, big up, mate. Thank you so much for your question, and big up, enjoy the stream. Big up, Stone, mate. As I said, guys, yeah, follow me on Twitch. If you're not on Twitch, we decided to sort of link it up with Twitch as well. Kuva, the hardcore 30-second intro. Oh, you know, it's the StreamYard one, of course. Cheers, mate. The trim was done on Monday. We've had the Monday. Sound is off. So can people hear me? Yeah, good mate. Good. Cheers. Thank you for popping in. Everyone's commenting on the trim. Listen, got to look sharp for you guys. Cheers. Thank you. Big up, Daniel. Thank you for jumping in. Knows his tech stuff more. It looks very impressive. Oh, thank you very much, mate. Thank you so much. Cheers. Yeah, just enjoying it. I've been enjoying the sort of changing it up and doing all that. Thank you. Evening. Big up. If you don't, guys, follow these guys as well. Listen, always help the community out, guys. If you don't, we follow everybody, get involved with everybody. Great. Cheers. Welcome in. You look perched. Have you had enough water? I've got the water cooler because Jacob told me I have to drink more water. Jacob told me definitely I have to drink more water, so we will. Who we got? Coover. Oh gosh. Yeah, centre back in Maddison. I think Maddison's a good shout. I'm not a big fan of him, but listen, we're crying for creativity. How old are you, fella? Tottenham won 2 trophies in your life. Why are the expectations so high? Mate, same. I've only seen us win 2 trophies. There's no expectations with me anymore. I think when we had Pochettino in, he grew the expectation. I think we kind of started to believe. I think some people haven't sort of dropped from that. I don't think people have actually dropped back from that sort of expectation. But for me, no. At the moment, there's no expectations. I just want us to enjoy football again. And at the moment, under Conte, it is horrendous to watch. Yeah, guys, yeah, please, if you haven't hit the like, please hit the like. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. As I said, I'll be putting the chat back. I'll put the link in the channel very shortly. So if you guys want to then jump on and come and we can have a chat with anyone. I'll be Kuva. Got to stay hydrated. Ding dong. Yeah, sorry, guys. I'm just catching up with obviously the chat. And yeah, someone decided to knock on my door. Mr. Blobby coming in. Behave, Stones. Conte has turned up. As in what? Has he arrived back from Italy? Decided to take a break because he can't handle it? I can't stand him. The day he goes, the better, because it's just boring now. Keep hydrated. Yep. Brilliant. Amazon. It wasn't Amazon. It was someone saying that they were looking to buy this place. It's not my property, but that was an odd one. Yeah, it was an odd one. Phil Pease with another question. What was the World Cup the most enjoyed part of the season? Yeah, was even though I had enough of them, mate. When the World Cup came, it felt like a really nice break from Tottenham. I got bored of the World Cup quite quickly when we got knocked out as well. But yeah, mate, honestly, it is dreary watching us play football at the moment. Yes, Bill, I do live in Barcelona, just near the Sagrada Familia. Lovely out here. Weather's lovely at the moment. We've got nice weather. It's brilliant out here. Cheers. Big up, mate. Big up, yeah, and everyone up in the chat. Thumbs up, guys. Just in the Ballon d'Or. Question. Do you think Eric Dyer can redeem himself, or is he a lost cause? I think Eric Dyer is I think he's a poor defender, isn't he? Let's be honest. He's not great, but everyone picks him. I think we have to recognise that there's got to be a reason why he gets picked week in, week out by managers. Week in, week out. Every manager seems to pick him now. Conte, everyone moans about how bad he is, but Conte picks him every week, puts him in that middle one. And I think the middle one's the most important one because he's the one that needs to be leading the line. So I think there's got to be a reason for that. Big up Jazz. Question mark. How do you make a woman like you? Just be a nice person, Mark. Be a nice person, mate. Just listen. You're in there. The Spurs. What sort of manager are you looking for now? Spurs podcast, guys. There's my criteria. For this new manager is so easy. As long as it's not an ex-Chelsea manager, I don't care who it is anymore because I feel it doesn't really matter at this football club who we have in charge. We've had the likes of Conte and Jose serial winners. We had the likes of Pochettino, sort of project building managers. Nothing really changes, let's be honest, has it? It doesn't matter really who we have in charge. So for me, it doesn't matter. Yeah, keep it up. Cheers, mate. Big up, Derek. Big up, mate. Deronated with he's having a last chance. Listen, he is agreed, but he still gets picked. Am I going to watch England game? Probably not. Let's be honest. I'm kind of excited to have the sort of time of football for a moment. Oh, love you, mate. Love you, mate. Big up. Question: If Poch does come back, do you think all the dead wood will get a reprieve? I think it's a great question, this actually, because I've seen a lot on Twitter that is Pochettino coming back because of the likes of Lo Celso and Ndombele were signed for him, but he was only here for they were only here for short periods. I don't know. It's really sitting on the fence. I don't know. I think there is possibility that we want to sort of find a way to get the worth out of players like Lo Celso and Ndombele. Personally, I would gut the lot. It's one of also the reasons why I don't want Pochettino to come back. Not because I don't like the way he plays football, not because I don't like him as a person, because I think actually he would bring unity to a lot of this fan base to a certain extent. I think people miss him because they love what he represented at Tottenham. But it's one of the reasons why I think we need a fresh start. For me, Vincent Kompany, Michael Carrick, Gallardo, one of those sort of managers for me is who I would be looking for. But do I think Poch coming back? I think there's a lot of talk at the moment that he might be going to Real Madrid, is a lot of the stuff that's been talked, because I've heard Ancelotti might be leaving soon. Oh, big up Kuva. How are you, mate? So Sporting Spurs, which numbers on your worst ever decisions list? It's 2 of mine behind marriage. Oh, Kuva. As I said, I love Spurs, but I hate them so much as well. They do stress me out. They stress me out way too much. No, I don't regret it, but I know what you mean. I agree, mate. Question: If you could fill an entire pool with anything other than water, what would it be? What? Jacob, I'm not even shocked by this. I don't know. Jelly. Let's go with jelly. Why not? Mate, I just say it how it is, mate. I say it how it is. I don't mince it. Listen, I'm old enough and ugly enough to sort of understand now how it works at this football club. I expect disappointment. Literally, that is the best way. Expect the worst, and if anything else happens, it's a bonus. That's my idea. Yeah, expect everyone to stay as near. Yeah, exactly, Phil. Spot on. Eric Dyer is the lost scores. Yes, correct. Alan Boa. Who we got? Question: What do you want as assistant manager and director of football when you take over as coach of Spurs? Perchy? Name my dream team. Oh, that's a great one. Do you know who I would have? I'd have, well, if I was in charge, I'd bring the director of football that's over at Brighton and bring his whole team over. Assistant manager, do you know what? I'd have Ryan Mason next to me. Screw it, why not? I'd give it to Ryan Mason next to me, and then I'd bring in the whole of Brighton's director of football and their scouting team, because they do it properly. And there's no excuses why we can't do it at Tottenham, because we look at the way Brighton play and we should be emulating exactly how they do it, bringing in players from foreign leagues that have been scouted properly and tested and done properly. I think here's a question for you guys. Can anyone name me in the last probably 5 years that where Brighton have made a bad signing? Can anyone name one? Who else is Conte going to pick? Listen, Tom, if Dyer is as bad as everyone says, then why can't we start an academy? Why can't we go 4 at the back instead of playing 3 defenders? I think the logic gets misconstrued completely. Listen, I don't think we've got good defenders, so why are we playing a defensive team, a defensive setup? Big up, Swifty. They picked Dyer because he's an arse. We'll move on. Everyone wants exciting football. Why not Marcelo Bielsa? He plays attractive. He does, but I think, mate, we need to get to a stage where we are bringing in a young coach and instilling a young coach in, and in a weird way, we need to be emulating what Arsenal are doing. I think we all want to hate to say it, but we want to emulate what they're doing. But we're nowhere near emulating what they're doing. Yeah, big up, mate. Big up, Tom. Big up, mate. Big up, Foggy Foam. How you doing, mate? Don't get rid of waste of space of resource. Yeah, but we're at a stage where we need to offload. I think more than just him. I think there's so many players we need to offload. Question: worst chant you've heard in recent years, and give us a rendition. You won't be getting a rendition, but no, that's not happening. The worst chant we have as a fan base is when we sing about Man City. City thought they won it, and Tottenham pulled it back. For me, I think it's stupid. Since the chant happened, look how many trophies Man City have won, and look how many we've won. I think it's embarrassing when we sing it. Really, if I'm honest, my opinion. I'm not telling people what they can and can't do, but for me, I don't like it. Big up Jacob, of course, he's the man. I had a sneak peek that Conte might still be in the dugout for the next game. Reckon the contract issue might be difficult. Dave, I don't. If he comes back and he manages in the Everton game, what a shambles of a football club. We're a shambles anyway, but that is even worse. He should be nowhere near this football club now after what he said. Listen, what he said, I agree with. I don't disagree with half the stuff he said. Most of it was absolutely spot on. But should he be anywhere near us? No, now, because he's called every player under the sun out. And unfortunately, no matter what people want to believe, people think that the players need to be called out more. To a certain degree, I agree with. To a certain degree, I do agree. But now, if he walks back in, what are those players going to say? What are you doing back? And for me, I don't think he should be coming back. Personally, that's my opinion. Big up there. Yeah, please, guys, please hit the likes. And if you haven't subbed, please sub, guys. It means a lot, and it's a free hit. Big up Barnabas, mate. Big up. Cheers, mate. Still need to finish out. I think, Jazz, that's a potential thing if the contract thing hasn't been sorted. I think there could be an agreement where that Conte doesn't manage anymore, but they go and give it to Stellini to the end of the season with Mason, maybe. I think that's I think that's fair. Question: why the hell did you pick Jacob as a mob? Because he's the only one that wanted to be mobile, and he was begging to be mod. But listen, if not, otherwise, if I've got to substitute Ben Kaufman in the Power Hungry mod, I will have to substitute the Coffin if he wants to. Yeah, definitely. Jellio, yeah. Feel the dreams, yeah. A bit of hope would be nice. Jelly is good, of course. 2 hours melter. Oh no. Who are you? Goodbye. Don't know what that is. Oh, come on, Daniel. My Spanish isn't very good, so I'll let you answer again. What that one that was done by the guy with the guitar? Yeah, no, that was poor, wasn't it? Let's be honest, that was poor. We're up to 24 likes, guys. If one person hit the like, I'll put the link in the chat. And if you want to jump in, rule 101, if you want to come in, just got to have your camera on. I'm not having what I've seen on other shows. So please, one more like. We're at 24, and then I'll put the streaming. Carrick will definitely be Tottenham manager in future. Good luck with your channel. Cheers, Dave. I hope. I think that Carrick. I hope Carrick will. Why not? First round, yeah. Big up everyone who was doing Ramadan for this month. Big up, guys, because fair play to you guys. I hope it brings you. I hope you have a really nice month. No coming back for Conte. That ship has sailed. Agreed. They're working on the legalities. In my opinion, will be the manager for the rest of the season. Agreed, Terry. I agree. Unless something out of thin air and madness happens, I don't see Conte coming back. I don't see him coming back to England, let alone coming back to Tottenham. Big up, guys. We've got the I'm gonna throw the link in. If you want to come on. As I said, rule 101, you have to have. If you haven't got a camera, I won't be adding you in. As I said, I've seen people that have had a bit of chaos happen when they don't have a camera. So please, rule 101, just put your cam on and listen. You can ask me questions live. I envy Perchy. Life in Barcelona. Wow, mate. Yeah, it's nice out here. I do miss the UK. I definitely miss the UK. But yeah, no. Yeah, I love it out here though. It is nice. It is nice. The weather's lovely. We're good. Awesome. Pedro Porchan is tune of ice cream trucks on. Oh, don't. Jacob. It is horrendous, that song. I can't stand it. It's not great and it's not funny. Stop gentrifying football chants. Football chants are meant to be sung by people on the terraces, not with a guitar. Sorry, that's a no. It's a no for me. Big up, Nigel. Yeah, big up. Cheers, guys. Keep going. If you, as I said, I'll put the link in. If you guys want to jump in, it'd be absolutely amazing if you could jump in. Any more questions as well? Whack the queue in front. I'll ask you guys a question whilst I'm waiting for some sort of, if people want to come on or not. What do people think about the rest of the season? I think we're all in a consensus that we think Conte's gone. I don't think there's a hope in hell that he does come back. But what are people's thoughts this season? I hear talk of top 4. For me personally, that's not an achievement. I think that's third loser. I say this all the time on Twitter. What do people expect this season? What are people's genuine expectations? What is worst case scenario? What is best case scenario? I'll leave that to you guys for now and see what you guys think. Just chuck it in what you think, guys. For me, I think top 4 is still plausible. Do I care about it? No, I don't think. I think we've got much bigger problems than getting into the Champions League next season. For me, I would happily drop out of it all and start again. I think we need a season out of Europe. I think it sounds counterproductive, but I think we genuinely need a season where we're out of Europe and we can start again. I think we're a problem at the moment at the moment the way we play. I'd happily take a season out of Europe. Let me see. Don't be nasty to Jacob. Jacob's lovely. We love Jacob. He won't block you. If he blocks you, I will unblock you. Never block people. Question: sell Kane and rebuild around him, or rebuild around him? Oh, great question, Jacob. I think if it was last year, for me, guys, I would have said build around him. But it's as I say, Kane's my favourite player. I think everyone knows this that I've spoken to about Harry Kane. Yeah, I think we sell him. I think if the right offer comes in, we sell him. I think if someone, I think the talk was 100 million quid on Sean's channel. So if you haven't seen that, by the way, go and have a look. Really good debate last night on Sean's channel. It was really good, actually. I really enjoyed watching. I would, if 100 million quid came on the table tomorrow for Harry Kane to go in the summer, I think I accept it, because I think he's priceless at Tottenham. But I've also stated before about Harry Kane is that Harry Kane has dragged this football club over the line far too much, and it's not in a bad way. Not in a bad way, because I think Harry Kane is special. But I think we do, is my answer. Another question. Do you think Sonny has fallen off like someone, or is it a matter of time, or is it a matter of how he's being played? Yes, I think, and this is just me, the Perchy, saying this. I have a feeling that we could see a different Son to the end of the season. I think we might see a team which will thrive. I think there'll be a realization with the weight lifted off a lot of people's shoulders that we can move forward now without Antonio Conte, and I think Son will thrive at that. My opinion. I could be completely wrong. Big up, guys. If you haven't followed this guy, follow the Sava, man. Sava's the man. Nothing matters, and for me, until Conte's gone. Bang on. I can't watch this football with him any longer. It's horrendous. My only question, why has the club stayed silent? Stick your head in the sand and it goes away. I don't think it's that, Jazz. I think there's a lot of problems at the moment with Conte's contract. For me, I think there is a lot of talk. I think the club want to sack him. I think he will get sacked. But I think there could be a situation where we are trying to find a way to get rid of him on gross misconduct on the comments that he said. And I think the club won't comment about it until it's done. Personally, that's my opinion. I could be completely wrong. That's just my opinion. Big up the Spurs podcast again. I'd say given the squad, top four would be an achievement right now, but I think we will fall away. Yeah, as I said, if we get there, we get there. If we don't, we don't. I think I'm kind of in that sort of mindset. I don't really care. I think a lot of people are like that. Let me know if you're in the comments, guys, if you're like that, because personally, I don't care. If we're in Europe, if we're not in Europe, if we're in the Europa Conference League, if we're in the Europa League, I don't think it really matters at the moment. I predict whoever set a fire at the lane, repent, make amends, and burn down the arena. I'm not condoning behaviour like that, but I do think we need to start completely again, start from fresh. I'll be happy if Mason come in and changed to a back four and build Kulu in the hole behind Kane, Danjuma, Stein. Nigel, I couldn't agree more. The four at the back needs to come back and give Danjuma a chance. The debate about Danjuma seems to speculate all the time. I looked at his stats. He's played 11 minutes in the Premier League. I mean, he gets judged a lot, Danjuma. But can we genuinely judge a player that's joined us for and played 11 league minutes? I can't. Can he? Could he? Seems like a player that has energy. And it's the one thing we're missing at this football club. We've got no energy, no pace, nothing. Conte out, Levy in goal. So Levy in goal, so he can see just how shit our defence is whilst he's pummeled with the football. Mate, I don't think he cares. And I think this is the bit that a lot of people within the sort of community, I think they miss it. Daniel Levy doesn't care. He doesn't care about you as a fan. He doesn't care about the achievement at this football club. I think he cares about money, and the board care about money. I think the biggest problem, I don't even think Daniel Levy's the big problem. It's the board, it's Enoch, because they accept it. They sit there and go, you're making us money, so why should we care? Do you know what I mean? I don't think they give a crap about us as a football fan. As a football fan, as a club, I think the only way we achieve it is if we stop going. But people aren't ready at that point yet. And until people get to that point, I don't think change will happen. Even then, by the way, guys, I don't think change will happen because we're a multi-billion-pound company now. There's not many multi-billionaires in the world, and there's not many knocking at the door for Tottenham. That's the key one. They're not going to sell if 5 or 6, 10 or 15 people say that. 10 or 15,000 people say that. Do you know what I mean? Big up. I think we'll finish 5th or 6th. Liverpool will find a way to get 4th. Yeah, Terry, I've said this a while. I think Liverpool will finish above us. But I've said at the moment, I don't think this race for the Champions League football is even that important. I don't think anyone's looked any better than anybody else. I think everyone's been bang average. Big up, man. Calling Champions League is a joke. Calling it Champions, agreed. Alan, I said this on my first ever stream, and we were debating this. I've said for a while that the Champions League is lost all meaning of it. The majority of the teams aren't champions of anything. I said it should be the first two in the Premier League, and then the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup winners get it. And if one of them two teams is already in there, then it goes to 3rd and 4th place respectively. Because calling it the Champions League is now just a brand name now. It doesn't have any sort of real meaning. That's my opinion on it. Big up, Jacob. Another question. Some people say that we're entitled to demand trophies. Is not trophies? How do you measure success here at Spurs? I measure it by trophies. Trophies is the only way you can measure it. I think it's the only plausible way to moderate and measure success at any football club. I think every football club is. I think this modern era of football has lost its meaning when it comes to success and trophies because of the amount and the vast amount of money in the Premier League. I think that is completely nullified any sort of achievement in football. And this isn't just Tottenham, by the way. This is success across the board in the Premier League. Clubs are more interested about finishing 17th than they are about winning the FA Cup. I don't think it's just Spurs. I think it's all the teams down the bottom, all the teams in the mid-table. Heck, even teams at the top. How many times do you see Liverpool rotating all their squad for FA Cup games? I think we're at a stage where the money in football is so, especially in the Premier League, is so much greater that it just completely nullifies everything. And I think that's our biggest problem, really. Until real money and push to bring the League Cup and the FA Cup back, we'll never see any change. But yeah, big up for the question. Can't be having Mason. Think he needs to step away and start his career as a manager. Then who knows? Maybe he comes back one day. I think with the Mason situation, is very. I think he's not a manager yet. I think he's just a coach. I think he's just temporary in charge because I think of who he is as a player and he used to play for us. But do I want him to succeed? Of course I do. He's come through our academy, so of course I want him to succeed as a manager. And obviously after his injury, we don't want to see that again in football. That was horrible. I remember watching it. It was horrible. But yeah, no, I don't. I think he will at some point step away and get a manager's job, similar to what Scott Parker did. Scott Parker stepped away from being a coach at Tottenham and got a manager's job. So I think it will happen at some day. But I think I like the fact that he's learning his trade at Tottenham as a coach. Big up, Max, mate. Yep, all good, mate. All good. Cheers, mate. Thank you for that. Big up, Alan. Big up, Jacob. Yeah, Ramadan Mubarak to all you guys that are going through. Fair play to you guys. You're saying Son's gonna rise again. Am I saying Son's gonna rise again? Listen, I hope he does because I tell you what, we've got. He's a great player, Heung-min Son, but we need him to start stepping back and start performing again for us. Oh, big up Sava, of course. Question, Perchy. Perchy, are you like me and you want a young manager, fresh ideas like Ruben Amorim? Mate, I've said this. I would love Vincent Kompany, Michael Carrick, Amaron, who's over at Sporting. I'd take anyone that's a young, hungry manager at the moment, Simon, because listen, I think it's the only way forward at the moment for us because we tried the tried and tested and it hasn't worked. For me, and everyone knows my sort of philosophy on this whole conversation. For me, it's not necessarily the manager. I think the manager is the second problem. We need a plan of action. We need a director of football, a manager, and players all in sync. And we need to start gutting out. Listen, I would happily take 2 years of mediocrity. And as long as we don't get relegated, 2 years of mediocrity where we can go, do you know what? Let's just settle it. Let's gut out a lot of these players, restart after Harry Kane and Heung-min Son and Hugo Lloris, and start again. Get this manager in to just build again. Let's build. Sava makes a great point. If he's still in the chat, he'll attend to this. We don't need a rebuild. We need to build. We've never built. We should give a manager 5 years. Doesn't matter if they finish 4th or 14th. We go, do you know what? We're starting again from scratch. And that for me is who I want. I just want a plan of action at Tottenham. Yeah, it's not the champions anymore. It's the best 4-team league. Maybe it's better for a season, Spurs, not in Europe, and playing once a week and most seasons. Mate, I agree. I don't want us in Europe at the moment. I want us to start again. Start gutting players out. Let's have a reset, massive reset, and go again. With Son, it's both the way he's played and he's lost a step. Yeah, Jazz, he looks leggy. So does Kulusevski as well, by the way. He doesn't get away with it. He looks really tired as well. Big up, Terry. I think the club wants to use defamation club to terminate his contract without payout. Could be a long drawn out process. Agreed. I think that's what is the radio silence that everyone keeps saying. But I hope, I hope that it's happening and he's not in the dugout against it. I don't think he can be in the dugout again. I think he's probably on garden leave now. I think he's on garden leave, and I think Stellini and Mason will be the ones that will be taking charge until further notice. Big up, mate. Would you have Rice at Spurs? Declan Rice, yeah. I mean, Declan Rice is nowhere near coming to Tottenham, by the way. I mean, Declan Rice walks into our midfield. We could do with someone like that in midfield, but Yeah, it looks like I've read he's going to Arsenal. It looks like Arsenal or Chelsea might be after him. Probably Arsenal. Arsenal would, if he went to Arsenal, he would be massive for them. He'd be the spot on replacement for Granit Xhaka, wouldn't he? It'd fit right in that team. Yeah, big up, guys. I've seen Danjuma completing passes, so there's that. Listen, I think the Danjuma slander goes way too far for me. I think it's unfair to judge him. How long's he been here? How long's he played? He's not played enough, has he? Yeah. So I think it's harsh. I think he's got a bit of pace on him. Why not? Then Conte was Sue. Yeah, Jazz, we're going to be in that situation. I think the Conte situation isn't going to end anytime soon. So he's a baller. I hate that term. Oh, Alan, I hate that term. There's a lot of other terms that I hate. Only partners of beans chili. Yeah. Yeah, guys, please, if you've not hit the likes, we've got 33 likes. Please, guys, smash that like button. Matt, means so much. I'll pop the link back in the chat. No one came in. I thought people were going to come in and say hi. I'll pop the link back in the chat for you guys. Come in and say hi. It's going to be nice for you all to come in and jump in. Big up, Mark Cousins, mate. Still silence. What is going on? Yeah, I just covered it. I think there's a big drawn out situation with Antonio Conte and Spurs. I think it won't get sorted anytime soon. I just don't want him back in the dugout, Mark. And I'm expecting to see a comment from you shortly saying he's magic, because we know your thoughts. Big up, mate. Big up. Participant trade ruins sport, mate. Jazz, when the amount of time I see people go on about second, third, all that place, I just find it weird for me. Only one person can win it. We have got someone that's jumped in. Minerals has jumped in. Big up, mate. How's it going? Welcome to the Perchy TV. How's it going, mate?
Yeah, man. I'm big up Perchy, man. Like, just
Big up,
wanted to
mate.
pop in a bit and say something, man. Like,
Go for it, mate.
now off work, innit? Like, I'm now left. Yeah, what I'm trying to say is,
Sorry, there's a bit. Sorry, mate. There's a bit of background noise on your end, so I can't hear what you're saying. Sorry. Hello, you're back. How's it going? I was gonna say, mate, your connection's terrible. I don't know if it's just me, but I can't hear it all cutting in and out all the time, mate. Do you want to jump back out the stream, jump back in and see if it's that? I can't hear a word you're saying. Big up. I think he's gonna jump back in. Yeah, no, I don't know if it was just me, but I couldn't hear a word he was saying. Successors will be a week passing without any dramas. Alan, honestly, at the moment, success at the moment for Tottenham is just anything at the moment. Not making a defensive mistake for a game. I think that is for me our success at the moment. If we don't get Champions League, Kane is gone in the summer, in my opinion. I think Champions League is the only way we keep him around. Terry, I think he's gone regardless, unless there isn't someone willing to buy him. That'll be the only difference. Trophies create heritage and prestige, and prices marry Max. Absolutely bang on. We need to have this sort of attitude. I want to win stuff at Tottenham. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. That's my honest opinion. But yeah, Perchy, like your content, tend to agree with most things, but I don't agree trophies are only way to measure success. For me, it's one measure. I agree to a certain extent. Yeah, as I said, to a certain extent, I totally agree with you. You're spot on, I think, but I'm talking about it in more of that sort of regard on it all. Like, I think to judge us on a season, it's about winning stuff. As I said, if, for example, my best way to describe it, if Arsenal don't win the league this season, who's had a better season, Man United or Arsenal? I'll leave that question for you. We have got someone who has jumped in. It is the man who does love his long walks and his amazing chats and his great videos and his great streams. It's the man, Spurs Show. Welcome. How's it going?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. Sean is Sean, in case you forgot.
I said Sean. Did you not? Did I not say Sean? I did say
You said
Sean.
Spurs. I wasn't. No, you said Spurs talk show. I wasn't sure if he went. What's his name?
No,
What's his name? I forgot his name.
Sean, I text you all the time, my friend.
I know. I'm
I did.
just joking. How are you, mate?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. How are you?
Good. I just want to piggyback on what you said about if Arsenal don't win the league. If Arsenal don't win the league and Tottenham finish fourth, there is absolutely no difference to Tottenham's season versus Arsenal.
I absolutely agree, and I said this before, and I said this to a few of my mates who are Arsenal fans, and I did say to them, and the thing is they're not delusional Arsenal fans. They actually had a genuine chat about it. And I said, if you guys don't win the league now, this was just after them getting knocked out to Sporting, I said, if we finish in the Champions League and you guys don't win the league, you've had no better season than us.
I know.
And I said,
and Man United, perfect.
And I said, that just sort of sums it up, because people will be going mad if you don't. You'll be having a great time if you finish second. No, I think, especially in this position as well, I think you have no excuses to not win it. For them,
100%. But let's hope they don't. Just so you know, mate, I've literally got 15 minutes. I just thought I'd swing by and say hello.
No, cheers, mate.
Another one at 7. But so what's the conversation been? What's the general chit-chat?
People are just throwing questions at me. I'll let you have this one from Jacob.
Oh no!
Is the only way to get Spurs to care about FA Cup or League Cups to make winnings a substantial amount? Personally, I hate how the FA Cup is disregarded. What's your? I'll let you answer that one.
Jacob's got this take I remember from before, saying he wants to see the Premier League reshape all of the outcomes, that you only get top 2 get Champions League, and
that was me. Not Jacob. That was me.
Oh, was it? Was it you said it? Was it? I think Jacob may have like piggybacked off of your idea, then, because I'm sure I've seen him say it as well. I don't think it worked. I don't think you can possibly like see that ever being a factor. However, yeah, I mean, how do you make it more prestigious? I don't know. I don't know how you. I mean, most teams take it relatively seriously. There was a period like 10 years ago when all the big teams didn't really play their strongest teams, even in the Carabao Cup or the FA Cup. But I think these days that most teams take the cup more seriously. I don't think the reason that Tottenham screw up in the cup is because we're not taking it seriously. I think that there's like a massive psychological barrier. I was actually talking to my dad about it today, and I was thinking about trying to get a sports psychologist. One of the favorite books that I ever read was called The Chimp Paradox, or Chimp Mindset. I forget what it's called now. And the guy who wrote it is like one of the chief sports psychologists, or one of the most sort of famous. And I'm sure you'd be awesome to have a conversation with someone who was like an expert in that stuff, to kind of figure out why it is that Tottenham, is it like, success breeds success and failure breeds failure? I don't know. But I don't think that England, the FA Cup needs any more prestige for Tottenham to take it more seriously. I think there's just something, or any clubs. I think it's just a general mental barrier that Tottenham has.
I think it's systematic. Another question coming. Why is this that none of the so-called elite managers won even a cup for us, or at least tried, knowing the league was impossible to win this season? Great job. Listen, I think this is where I get really annoyed, because I see this a lot from people saying about why can't we? And people said, why do we not take it seriously? But let's be honest. I think we did take it seriously. I think people. It
was only Harry Kane that wasn't in the 11. Everybody else was a first teamer, weren't they?
And let's be frank and honest. Harry Kane came on at 0-0. Harry Kane came on at 0-0. So let's be honest. People dress it up about us having a poor squad that played. I thought that squad was perfectly easy to beat Sheffield United. Same with Forest earlier on in the season. Yeah, I think I think because Harry Kane didn't start the game, it's an easy excuse. He came on at 0-0, Harry Kane did. And let's be frank and honest, Sheffield United brought on a substitution, and he was one that scored the goal.
Yeah.
And I think that's always been my point. Is Sean captain Javiano? I think we've got another in our group at the moment, Savra. I think there's another captain Javiano at the moment. I think he's taken the captaincy.
Do you know what?
Where are you, Mr. Box Office?
I was saying to Nick, I was saying to Barry earlier, because there's a guy called Gavin Brains McLeod who was saying in a different WhatsApp group, he was saying, I think Sean is starting to like slide over into the Levy out column. and I was making the joke that I'm going to do it drip by drip, like very like tiptoe,
brilliant.
incrementally. I'm going to every now and again slide in more anti-Levy sentiment, and then in
brilliant.
about 6 months' time, I'll be organising better protests than Brian Daigle. I'll be on Sky Sports News.
So funny.
Everyone's going to wake up and go, "Wait, what? Sean Butler? No, he was the guy who was leaving in."
Mr. Daniel Levy. Axel Koulibaly said, "We're linked with Guehi. Would you take him?" Yes. I think he would. We need him. I think the other one I would have had is Joachim Andersen as well. I think I've made that one very clear. Any more questions?
Do you think Guehi's good enough?
Yeah, I mean, it's better than what we've got. But I don't know.
Is he good enough to take it? Like, it's not just about improving what we have, is it? You know, it's
no.
about.
But I think he would. I think he would be a good squad player for us. In the sense, when I use the term squad player very loosely, I mean, I think we need 4 defenders if we're going to play a back 4. So we're going to play a back 4. We're going to need 4 centre halves.
Yeah.
I think we've got Romero, so I think we need 3 realistically. And I don't mean we need to sign 3 in the summer because I don't think it's going to work like that. I think we need to sign at least 1 and then start getting rid of the Sanchez's and bringing in one. For me, and I think we need a leader for me over anyone. I think not having a leader at the back is our biggest problem because we need someone to control Romero. I think he's a great defender, Romero, but I think
one of those. Personally, I think you probably could go to Crystal Palace and maybe do some sort of player plus cash swap deal where maybe you could send like a Sanchez the other direction, or even an Eric Dyer if you wanted to get rid of him. You could send him that way and then pick up one of their guys, either Anderson or Guay. But I just don't know if either of those two are, you know, they might be upgrades on what we have, but I don't know if they're where we want, you know, where we want to take them. But maybe for a squad player status rather than
I mean, Nigel said, "Have you seen the new home kit for next season? What do you think? I hate it." Have you seen this?
The one with the blue trim at the top.
Yeah, and the kind of
around the collar area,
and the sort of like blocky kind of opinions.
It looks exactly the same as one about 4 years. The one that Harry Winks used to wear. Like
I think it's horrendous.
Yeah, it's not for me.
It looks weird. Horrendous for me. Yeah, no, definitely not. Let me see if I can see any.
I don't know why can't they just like pitch the idea, like because I've seen so many people that have got that software where you can design your own kits. I've seen so many people like send around their own versions of Tottenham kits, and they look absolutely phenomenal. Why can't Tottenham like get together with Nike or whoever it is that makes the shirts and say, we'll do a competition and the best, like we'll put out 100 different ideas, and then the one with the best, most popular gets given the gig.
Agreed. No, Savra, I think you missed what we were saying. No one's saying that. I don't think what we were discussing about Arsenal and Spurs a bit. If Arsenal don't win the league, they've had the same season as. I think we were talking directly about trophies. I think you may have missed that bit at the beginning. We were just saying, if you base the season on trophies, Arsenal and Spurs have had exactly the same season. They both finished in the Champions League. Arsenal, I think we're not delusional. Arsenal had an incredible season this season.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
and I think you may have. I think you just slightly missed the beginning of what we were saying there. Yeah, no. It was just
success versus progress is two different conversations.
Yeah. Exactly. I think it's because someone mentioned just before that when they were talking about is trophies the sign of it's the only sign of success, and that we were just banging off that one.
Yeah.
I
was only joking, Jacob.
Love you, Jacob. You have Arsenal mates, Perchy. I disown family over there. I keep him closely. Perch, do you think Southgate should be sacked after we lose again tonight? I've said I don't want. It's the reason why I don't watch football. It's England unless it's tournaments anymore, because it really bores me. I think it's hard enough watching Spurs, let alone watching England. It feels like England are the international version of Spurs, and it's like I try and do my best to get away from watching Tottenham, and then have to go and watch them again because it's England. Yeah, no, I think Southgate should have gone. He should have gone a while ago. But when we lost to Hungary, for me, that was a sackable offence in itself. Let me see. Big up Pano, but yeah, big up Bobby K, man. How are you doing, my friend?
Good to see
How
you.
are you doing? Absolute legend.
He did steal it from Perchy.
I told you.
Yeah, there you go. Next time you have to reference.
I'm trying.
If you're taking someone else's ideas, Jacob, you have to at least reference them.
Exactly. I want to see the at the Perchy TV. I am reading all the questions as quick as I can. I'm trying to go through them whilst debating. Nigel, I'm not saying we had a poor squad. We had more than enough to deal with the opposition. So why can we not beat these teams? I think it's a systematic issue, and I'm going to play off. I don't know. I can't remember if we spoke about it on your stream a few weeks back when I said about when we did lose to Sheffield United. I think people use we've got a rubbish squad as some sort of a band and stuff. I don't think that's fair. I think we had a better squad than Sheffield United. And then the thing is every time you use one of the sort of trying to negate against what they say, and people went, well, then we're told not to take this seriously, these tournaments by the owners.
I don't believe that either. Yeah.
But I don't, because
honestly, Perch, I genuinely think that the reason why we lose those sorts of games, the reason why we can't ever get up for those sorts of matches, there is something it's a very complex mental.
Agreed.
And I just don't think that any of us or 99% of people are educated in identifying how it is, and people they want an answer, so they look for a simple solution. And if they can't blame the managers because it's happened on different managers, you can't blame the players because it's happened with different players, then it has to be the owner or something like that. But actually, I think that it's so much deeper and more complicated than that, and that's why I think you need to, like a sports psychologist would need to get in there and spend a year evaluating what's going on before they can come to any conclusions.
For me, it was mindset for me, and this was my theory, is they must have looked at their squad. But the team sheets come out and it gets passed around the players in the dressing rooms, and they get, this is who's playing for us, who they're playing. They looked and went, they've got two rookies in midfield. We just got to turn up today. We've won this. And it was an attitude, for me, it was an attitude problem from the players, because I thought we had every reason to beat that. And the longer it went 0-0, I went, we ain't winning this game. I was with me, Sam and Cooper were both talking about it, and we're not going to win this game. You just had a feeling we weren't. And then they went and scored. But I'm not having the nonsense that we haven't got a good enough squad to beat Sheffield United's reserves. For me, that was, I think it gets to a point where it makes the whole argument so irrelevant, because then you sit and go, it just looks silly for me.
Yeah, I agree. Milan, I think Milan's like a closer battle, and I think they're like different qualities to both squads. So you could make, we didn't turn up for the games anyway, but you could make the argument that Milan have a better squad than Tottenham if you wanted to, right? Or vice versa. But Sheffield United, Nottingham Forest, Middlesbrough, all those like Mura, all those sorts of games where we've gone and just embarrassed ourselves, Colchester or whatever it was, then I think that there's the argument can't be the squad's not good enough. It can't be.
Yeah, no, agreed. Luke saying, how do you feel about getting a project man and potentially being outside the Champions League? Never going to win it anyway for several seasons. Luke, I said, not even just Champions League. I think I'd happily not be in Europe next season and start again. I think you've got a different thought process. You think that we have to be in the Champions League to be sustainable. But for me, I would sit back and think, is it even worth it? Because
I'd rather not be in the Conference League. Like if you had, I'll take Europa League because I think that Tottenham could, depending on what you do, there's a bit of money there, and maybe you can rebuild, and maybe you can have a little, a bit of fun and compete. Champions League for me, I think is important because of the bigger money packet. But if the option was finishing 8th or finishing 7th, and being in the Conference League or not being in Europe at all, I'd avoid the Conference League and go straight.
Here's a question for you, talking about the Conference League. So if we set out and we finish in the Conference League, for whatever reason, we get absolutely humble for the last 10 games and we finish 8th, because it'll be 8th place, get it? Am I right?
No, 7th, I think, isn't it?
4th for the Champions League. Sorry.
5th and 6th get the Europa League, and 7th gets the Conference, because I think the FA Cup winner gets the Europa League.
Yeah, but obviously dependent on if someone outside of the top 4 win the Champions League, because otherwise it will go to 6th.
Correct.
Yeah, that's right. So let's just for hypothetical say that we finish in the Europa Conference League next season and we're in it.
Mm-hmm.
What if we set out and said, do you know what? We want to use this as a way to develop our youngsters. Yeah. Similar to what we did under Pochettino. And for me, I thought we should have taken it seriously. I still think we should take it seriously. If we're in it, we should. But if it was a way that we went, you know what, we're using this way as a development thing, not for what people would say as B players and players that don't play, players that we want to be produced to be playing in our first team, would you accept it?
What, like, so youth, straight up youth team, no reserve, not Sanchez, not those sorts of players,
not players that we would in air quotes say as like squad players that aren't playing, players that we want to get rid of, players that we identify in our academy and in our reserves. This is our team. We're going to use in these tournaments because we see a potential with these players in the future.
Gotcha.
Would you accept it that way?
In the Conference League, if that was set out as like a statement, again, identify, articulate, and a plan, I can get behind it. I think if every player that's on the pitch is somebody that the club is looking towards, not just to make up the numbers, but to actually to become a part of the next 3 or 4 or 5 years at the club, I'll be okay with it. I don't think it would go down I think people would forget that, and people would remember the fact that if we got knocked out in the group stages of the Conference League, playing youngsters, I think.
Oh, have you frozen or have I frozen? I don't know who it is. Have you frozen? I don't know what's happened. I don't know if it's me that's frozen or if you's frozen. Can you hear me? Is it frozen? Can you hear me? Is it me that you can't hear or is it Sean? It's completely frozen. I'm not frozen, but Sean is. Hang on, I'm going to put Sean out of here and bring him back in. So it's not me that's frozen, it's just Sean. Okay, let's see if he's back. Nope, he's definitely not back. He's still frozen. I'll wait for him to come back and I'll add him back in. Yeah, he's frozen completely. Okay, cool. You can hear me, but it was Sean that froze because I didn't know if the whole thing crashed. I think he's back now. Here he is.
Sorry, mate.
You back now?
Yeah, my Wi-Fi just dropped. I do actually have to go right now. So
okay.
I don't know how much of my point you heard, but essentially I'd be okay with the idea. But I think that it would require them to articulate it, make that clear, and then even if we did it, I think that when we eventually got booted out by some random Slovenian team, I think that a lot of fans would forget that was the plan, and then still moan about the humiliation of getting dumped out of the Conference League. People would suddenly say, "Why can't we take the competition seriously? There's a trophy there to be won."
Would you take it seriously if we were in it?
One or the other, right? One or the other. It would be a trophy that you can win. Like, you either go for it and win the trophy because you can do it. You can win that trophy pretty easily, or you do what you're saying. But going out and playing Sanchez and that sort of lot, like you don't want those players.
In a sense, what we're trying to say is we either go like one or the other side. So we either go, do you know what? We're going to go full strength. We're not going to care about where we finish in the league, but we want to win this trophy. Or we go, do you know what? We're gonna use this as a development tournament to try and build players. So and I agree to a certain extent. Yeah.
Anyway,
that's why you shooting.
I've got to make sorry, but it depends on the manager. If you were to have someone like Thomas Tuchel who takes trophies and cup competitions seriously, then I don't see why we couldn't do it, because I think that
Agreed.
I was looking at Thomas Tuchel's record. He's four finals in his first 2 seasons at Chelsea.
Yep.
One trophy lifted. Like, the more I think about Thomas Tuchel, I know you and Sabra and that are not interested in him at all. But the more someone's put together like a pretty good, I don't know how to call it, like a position statement to say he's actually not a bad idea. And I don't mind it. For me, it's either Poch or Tuchel, which is probably where I'd go now with my manager pick.
I think me and Sabra agree, but on different reasons. Sava doesn't want it for the pragmatic. For me, I don't want another Chelsea manager at the club. I will take anybody as long as they're not an ex-Chelsea manager. I'm done with that sort of narrative of trying to get Chelsea's sloppy seconds. That's my only thoughts.
Yeah. All right, mate.
Mate, good thanks for coming on.
Love you, man. Speak to you soon. Take care, buddy.
Speak to you. Take it easy, mate. Bye. Okay. You're still here, Sean?
I'm off.
I thought it looked like you were just sat at your computer. Sean, thank you very much, Sean. That was Sean from the Spurs Talk Show. If you haven't subbed to him, go and sub to him. He brings some really good content. Really enjoys. He is Captain Javiana, by the way. He leads the Javiana firm of flip-flops. I'm saying it's just a new kit. Yeah, it's horrendous, mate. It is horrendous. Perchy, mate, would you take Ndika and would Sean take? Oh, Sean's just gone. Sorry, mate. I would have. We were just chatting away, chinwagging, and forgotten. I think it's too late, mate. I would have him. I think Ndika's a great centre half, but he's he's going to Barcelona. Guehi would replace Dyer and Davis in a flash. I think Guehi is a good defender. I like him. I don't think he's the leader that we need at centre half. We need that leader at centre back. I think that's the key one. Oh, we've been blessed with the man himself. You right, Coover? How are you?
How's it going, Perchy? Just thought tag team with Shawnee there. Give me a wingman.
Come on. Cheers, mate. How are you? How have you been?
Same as usual. You know,
enjoying the no Spurs period. It's quite nice.
Spurs. Oh yeah, I remember them.
the absolute the disappointment of my life.
I'm just hoping this is a sort of pivotal point for the club. I know it's not going to be, but it could be. If we finally get to the realization that hiring big name managers for the sake of it doesn't work at this club.
Agreed. It doesn't.
Well, we might get somewhere. It's the fundamental change that we're after. This is the whole Levy out argument. It's not necessarily Levy out. It's all about changing it. It's changing the way the club's
Agreed. Agreed.
So I'm all for what you were saying earlier. I'll totally agree with. I'd be happy to go with the complete rebuild. When we're talking painful rebuild, we are talking about the likes of possibly Kane and Son going.
I've said that.
I mean, it is going to be painful. I mean, if you're going to keep Son, Kane, Romero, Bentancur, players of that sort of caliber, you've got to add to them. Yep. We don't tend to do that, or at least not at a fast enough rate to make it work.
That's the key one. We don't do it quick enough. So, for example, when we go and bring in a good player, we bring in, I thought Romero, good signing. I think he's a bit rash, but I think he's a good signing. Bentancur, Kulusevski, they're great. But the problem is what I've always said, and we talk about it all the time in our chat all the time, we don't get rid of players enough. Like, you look at other football clubs in and around us and stuff. They're getting rid of players quickly. They're happy to take a loss on a player. We seem to be at this stage of, no, we're not going to get rid of him very quickly because we can't seem to get rid of him. We put them on, players like Ndombele on the same value as Harry Kane. No one in their right mind is going to be paying 200 grand a week for him.
Nobody can really. It's got to be another English club, hasn't it?
Agreed.
As he's pointing out rightly, every other league's skint at the moment.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got the exceptions that are going to be basically breaking the FFP as it stands if they're getting in that many players on high wages. Even PSG will get full foul under that if they keep doing it. So, and are they going to buy an Ndombele? No way.
No. Ndombele's not good enough for the wages he gets at the moment. That's the biggest problem, and it's not just him. I use him as my sort of example because he is on 200 grand a week, and it's a great example. But you could list. I think we've had this conversation before. I think we listed nearly 10 players that we needed to get rid of before we start again. And I said, and when we were in the chat, and Sam made a great point, we haven't got a bad basis in a sense. Wing backs, we're going to have two sort of full backs. If we play a 4, I don't want to see us play 5 or 3, whatever you want to call it anymore. Adoji and Porro, really attacking full backs, wing backs, whatever you want to call them. You look at the spine and you go, do you know what? We haven't got the worst players in midfield. We don't think by anyone saying that we haven't got the greatest, but Bentancur and Basuma and maybe one more. If you wanted to be Højbjerg or if you go and sign someone, I don't think Skip's the end of the. I don't think he's the greatest. But I don't think at the moment he's the worst. For now, just hear me out. And then in that final third, if you minus Kane and Son, you start with Kulusevski. It's more likely going to be Richarlison. I think that's probably fair to say. And then you're looking, just fill in those little gaps. I think we have a nice setup for a 4-2-3-1. Or, as I said, if you wanted it to be a 2 and a 4-2-3-1, Basuma and Bentancur, you then got Kulusevski out wide, get a number 10 in, and McAllister or Maddison, one of the two. I think I'd take either of them. And you start building forward, but that's our problem. We don't build.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if we go on the assumption we might have Ryan Mason as caretaker manager to the end of the season,
yep,
we started talking about it the other night, didn't we? And What sort of things could he do with the team? And I'm of the opinion you could do things as simple as forget Eric Dyer being the sort of last man defender.
Yeah.
Push him into midfield like he used to be. He's not going to be great, but we have got an injury problems there at the moment. And if you push him into midfield and then just push the whole team forward, play a little bit more in their half of the field, then chuck in those extra couple of midfielders rather than having three at the back. You can
this is the common, isn't it? Let's be honest. Sorry to jump in. This is the common, isn't it? Imagine being English and a Spurs fan. It's just torture. It's spot on.
Anything in a white shirt, forget it at the moment. White and red, they're completely out.
Agreed.
Well, no, except for Norway. I'm looking forward to that Saturday. Norway playing Spain. That's worth watching.
Yeah, that'd be a very good game of football.
But I think you're back to this Ryan Mason bit. If you did put Dyer in midfield, you get Højbjerg and Skip able to just go forward as box-to-box players.
Yep.
So you can throw bodies forward, be more aggressive in their half of the pitch, not waiting for them constantly on the edge of our box where we're not very good defensively. It's risky, but it's going to be more entertaining, surely. Actually have a go.
But this is the point, though. I think we talk about it, me, you, Sava, and all the other guys in the chat. So I just want to see something a bit different. Listen, this defensive pragmatic approach hasn't worked all season. I think anyone that can say it has, I want to see what they see. But I look at it and go, do you know what? We've got 10 games. Use these 10 games as a sort of glorified pre-season. Go, do you know what? We're going to tinker. We're going to try something new. Listen, does it matter if we finish in the Champions League? I couldn't care less. I think Sean was
I think look, rather than looking at it as a sort of stepping stone to going for next season, I think just sod it. It's been a write-off. Enjoy it. Even if Conte stayed, even if things were going well, I'm still not convinced we'd make top four. It's still a tight race there. But at this moment, I don't care. I just want to enjoy something in the meantime until the season's over. I'm kind of the opinion that if we do go for the big manager, go for the next manager, and we're looking to restart a project, I don't think they should be coming in right at this point, because I think there are players that are disheartened, used to playing a certain way. I think we need to get to the end of the season and just have that summer holiday. Everybody goes away, forget about all the crap that's happened. Proper reset starts with that beginning then. So there's that way of thinking it, but I kind of get it as well. Sometimes you think if you're going to have a long-term manager come in, the earlier you can get them in, the better, the faster you reach that point.
If they're available now, and that's kind of what I was saying, it goes one of two ways. I don't mind Mason in charge at the end of the season because, do you know what? It doesn't really matter anymore. But also, if we get someone in now, as I said, you can use it as a way to let them get 10 games as a way to scope out going, do you know what? I want you, and you. The rest of them don't want. And go back to whoever's in charge, the director of football. If it's Daniel Levy or whoever it is in charge of that, I'm going to say, do you know what? I want these 7, but the rest of them don't want them. They can go. And listen, it's your job to get rid of them. They won't be my team next season. We need someone to do you know what I mean? We need someone to be standing up to say, this is how we're going to do it. But I think Conte was that one step too far. I think the way that he did it publicly like he did, calling out the players, and I think right in saying for what he said, I agreed with what he said, but the problem is the second you do something like that publicly, you're already going to be sat in your sort of, and the problem is now he can't walk back in that dressing room. He can't. What?
Well, also the thing about Mason, he gets slagged off constantly. It's like, oh, it's the end of the world if he comes back. He actually did all right with us.
He did.
It's 6 league games. We won 4 of them. Scored about 14 goals. It was all right.
Okay.
When we do get outclassed, we're outclassed. I mean, obviously, I think his little stint got tainted by the fact that we were expecting Mourinho to take us to a cup final glory.
And this is the thing is everyone sort of talked about that cup final. I didn't even think he did that badly in the cup final. Yeah, we weren't great, but let's be honest, it was a deflected Laporte header that went in and won the game, and it was a weird one like that cup final because we were poor. Yes. But he took us to extra time.
It's hardly crashing out to Sheffield United, is it?
We didn't get absolutely, exactly. We didn't get humiliated in that final. Yeah, we weren't great. I think we only had 2 shots on target all game, and we weren't good. But let's be honest, and you're right, we didn't get knocked out by a B team in the Championship. And I think he gets a lot of flack, Ryan Mason, but I think he only gets a lot of flack and do you know what it was? And I think, and this is my theory, I think he gets a lot of flack because he wasn't this sort of amazing football player at Tottenham. Like, do you sort of get my point? He wasn't this incredible player, but he got an opportunity because of his injury that he had, and the Spurs gave him the opportunity to come and train as a coach. Listen, why not want him to do well? I want him to do well. We had this conversation. What if he goes and wins the last 10 games of the season, all of them? You have to give him the job.
Yeah. There's little things that might well work for him. Let's face it, he's experienced the Pochettino side of how the team plays. He's come back and he's worked with Jose Mourinho and Conte. These are not bad managers to be working with on your CV.
And
he will be learning one way or another. He's learning from it. If he can piece it all together in some sort of form, then maybe he does a nice little job for us. Who knows?
And to be fair, mate, that's the part I think about it. And I look back and I think and I go, do you know what? Would it be that bad? And hear me out. Would it be that bad if Ryan Mason was in charge? There's no expectation. No one's going to be sitting there going, we're going to win everything now, are they? No one's going to be saying that. People will be sitting back going, do you know what? We've got Ryan Mason in charge. It can't be terrible. And do you know what? And what we do is we use the Arsenal method and go, do you know what? We're going to copy them. We're going to promote a young coach who's never coached a team properly. When I say coached it, I mean as a manager, not as a caretaker. And we're going to go, you're in charge now. You build your backroom staff. You emphasize the use of youth. And I'll tell you what, I bet you, and do you know what makes me laugh? You know when people say about playing for a manager and they say, oh, well, Kane's not going to play for a manager. I bet you Harry Kane works harder for Ryan Mason than he did for Conte.
To be fair, I think Kane does work all the time.
No, I'm using Kane as an example, but do you see what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
Because
some players very much respond to the management style. I think the biggest one for me is one you mentioned earlier, and it'll be Sonny. I think if Sonny gets to play with a bit of freedom, say, don't worry about the defensive side so much. You're in the team to get on the end of that final ball and put the ball away. If we can get that back into him, then perhaps he's playing with a smile on face and putting a few goals away. I don't think we'd ever see it again under Conte. I think it's been, there we go.
This is your question.
Yeah.
Who's this guy with the cat? If I'm so disillusioned next season, if we sign the likes of Tuchel and I stop watching all games, does that mean I'm no longer a fan? My anger is being replaced by the indifference. This is my club. No, mate, I don't think it makes you any less of a fan if you don't watch us play. Listen, I hardly watch us play as it is, mate, and you know that. Me and you were sitting in live streams with Savo, sitting there going, who gives a crap?
Yeah, it's so bad. I find it so depressing, everything, because I used to be getting really angry about all this stuff.
Same.
And now it's like, who cares now?
That's exactly how I feel. Who cares? Does it matter?
That's what I'm saying. Hopefully, it's that hope, that killer hope word again, isn't it? Hoping that this sort of pivotal point for the club. Are we going to actually form some sort of worthwhile direction now? Or are we just going to keep getting these pragmatic managers with a squad that won't adhere to it?
Palmsy's coming. You're at the point now as a club that you need to win anything. The school raffle, the bingo, anything. We would still somehow manage to lose the bingo. We'd be the only ones in it and somehow would forget to call the number on the winning one. That's the sort of thing we would do. Oh, man. No. As I said, I think that we should be looking at whatever trophy next season. And I think, but the problem is and this is where it all comes to, and this is where I do slightly agree with the whole situation about the ownership. We need to have somebody and going, do you know what? We're going to win the FA Cup this season. We're going to win the Europa League, whatever it is. We're going to go full strength in these. If it does suffer in the league, but we need to sort of side away from this notion that we need to be in the Champions League because it does nothing for us. I think it really negates us at the moment. Barnes said, Tuchel's one of the best managers out there. Don't want him then. Literally, I'm at that point where I don't want the best managers going because they don't work at Tottenham. I think that's
Yeah,
a key one for me.
it. Again,
They don't
the
work.
successes Tuchel had at Chelsea, look at the squad.
Yeah,
It's a lot
exactly.
different to this one. And
Look
we
at
are
every
not going to
single-
be
look at-
buying that sort of quality.
Exactly. And the thing is we're at a point where we need to start again. And Tuchel, for me, I don't think will have the capabilities. Not to say he's not a good manager, because I think he is a very good manager. But I don't think he'll have the capabilities and the patience to, because our rebuild is not going to be a rebuild that's going to take 2 years. It could take 5. I've said this. And that's not because it can't happen, because it can do. If proper owners are in charge, then you can get a rebuild done very quickly. Chelsea's the prime example right now. They've done a rebuild in 6 months. They've literally spent 6 months and gone, do you know what? We're going to spend millions. But our plan is long term. We're going to buy young, hungry players at 50, 60, 70 million quid. But it's all about long term for them.
That's it.
We don't do that.
Yeah, that's what I'd love. That's what we're talking about. I'd love to see that here. Not obviously don't want to see us like mid-table. It's not going to be enjoyable watching the club break apart and then have to be reformed. But it's what's needed. Otherwise, it's just a continuation of what we've been doing for 3, 4, 5 years now.
Massively.
It was falling away under Pochettino, and he made it so clear that speech about needing the furniture, literally begging the club for players to push us forward, and it just didn't happen. Same with Mourinho. Look, it's just thrown sort of random bucket load of players. Doesn't really do a lot, does it? So he did what he could, fades away. Same with Conte.
Leave the mods alone.
Fades away.
Leave the mods alone. What's the point, SC? Listen, just don't be nice. Be nice in the comments, guys. I'm not here monitoring the comments. It's too many. I'm still trying to learn how to do it. I don't know how Sava and Co and everyone does it every single time. I sit going, it's nice being a guest because you don't have to worry about all of it.
Yeah, it's hard work, mate. I mean, did it before 8 years ago. You really have to keep on it.
You sit in the when you're in your side of the seat, you don't have to worry about all of it. But yeah, no, guys, be nice in the chat. Don't be hating on it. Listen, it's just be nice to each other. If you're being nasty, don't do it. Why? Come on, be nice.
I think a lot of this stuff that's going on the YouTube channels, it will all be so much better if we're watching some decent football at least.
Yeah,
there'll be so much less anger, wouldn't there?
But agreed. And the thing is, it's me. I think me and you are both in the same situation. I don't care now. I don't enjoy us, but I don't moan about it anymore. I just go, do you know what? Who cares? Like, that's kind of how I feel. I don't sit there and go, why can't we play great? I don't think.
For instance, take the Sheffield United one, since it's one of the most recent and most painful ones. If it had been a case of we had played them off the pitch, but their goalkeeper had a blinder, made half a dozen world-class saves, we hit the woodwork a couple of times, had some decisions didn't go our way, peppered their goal, but then they had like that 1 or 2 breakaway chances and just took one, you'd say, all right, it's disappointing, but that is just a genuine giant killing attempt, because that's what you used to see in the past. The bigger team not being able to put the ball away and then lose it. But it wasn't like that, was it? We are just getting put in our place, basically. And to see it so many times in such a short amount of seasons, regardless of manager. I know we had this argument about, it's happened more under Conte than anybody else. I think it's fair to say so. But it doesn't mean it wasn't happening on the others. It's the same style of cop-out, isn't it? That one under Mourinho, the away to in the Europa League.
Zagreb. That was horrendous. That was appalling, weren't it?
It's just, my God, it's like there's just nothing, and we see it so often.
Agreed. I agree. I do agree. I just think this, especially under Conte, when you get a lot of people that do rate him, and listen, everyone's entitled to their opinion. I personally don't. I don't think he's that great of a coach. I think he's a great manager. And this is where people completely miss the wording of what I say. Being a coach and a manager are two different things. Being a coach is all about instilling an environment. Conte doesn't necessarily need to do that. He doesn't ever do that. He goes in, he goes, do you know what? This is what we're going to do. And this is how we play. Because he has ready-made players for that. Coaches go in and say, do you know what, guys? This is how I want us to work. We're going to build systems and stuff. I don't think Conte goes in and does that. And listen, that's nothing against him personally. but it works at clubs that need that. Do you know what I mean? That just need someone a bit sprinkling the dust to go, do you know what? Here we go. We're going to go and win stuff now. But we need more than dust. I think we need a lot. A lot. We need a centre half, I think is key. Axel Koulibaly, I want Carrick at Spurs. I would take Michael Carrick in a heartbeat. Him or Company, I'd happily have. And just, you know what, start again. But I agreed. I think Michael Carrick really was brilliant.
Just completely buy into what their vision is.
Yep. This is how we're going to play. And over X amount of times, I don't care if it's 5 or 10 years, but I don't want us, if that's the case, we don't hit the trigger button. And this is kind of where people always go, well, it's all about sacking managers. No, but I think it's, with the Conte situation, I think it is different. The manager's going in 3 months' time anyway. We can't build anything with Conte because he's going anyway. Regardless of what anyone wants to think and what likes Antonio Conte, he's going in 3 months' time. So we have to build after that anyway. So if someone like a Michael Carrick comes in, you go, do you know what? We're giving you a 5-year deal with an extension after that if we want to keep you on. But the plan is we're not going to get rid of you. But as long as you don't relegate us, we're going to keep you here. We could suffer 2 or 3 years of horrible football where we're gutting players out. The plan is we're looking past Harry Kane. We're looking past Lloris, Son, all these sort of players that are sort of breaching that 30 mark and go, do you know what? Our plan is to go further on. We're going to build and bring in this player, this player, this player, and this player for you that you want. Next season, these players are going to be leaving the football club because of contracts. Who do you want in now? Not plan for the transfer window on the transfer window. We should be planning our transfer windows 12 months in advance, and we don't do that. Mate,
that's the thing, isn't it? Because there's no transparency at all with the club, so maybe they do. Maybe they might do, but still screw it up.
But the thing is this is, and me and Sav on the thing, and we were talking about goalkeepers. The fact that Lloris is being touted to be getting a new contract, another extension, tells me we don't have a plan. Because realistically, let's be frank and honest, however much I think Hugo Lloris has been a stalwart at this football club, an icon and a legend at this football club for how long he's been here, he's not good enough anymore. I think that's the frank and honest one.
It's a quick question there from Minerals FC to me that I might as well answer.
Where is he?
Just a few minutes ago.
Perchy May. Question for Kuva. Who is the Spurs version of Ty?
I've only seen Ty a couple of times because I just don't bother watching their channel.
Yeah.
But I can't think of anybody on the Spurs YouTube community, certainly, that's got that kind of mania and delusion put together. We've got a lot of fans that I think are deluded. I like to do it at the start of every season and say we're the quads on and stuff, just because it's what you do as a fan, isn't it? You've got to at least start off that way. But I don't see anybody like him. He's sort of veins on the side of the head bulging out, screaming away his wild opinion. I think
we probably do have that fan, but they don't get airtime. Does that make sense? We probably do, because we don't have that sort of AFT fandom anymore. AFT became an enigma within sort of YouTube and this space in a sense, and it became, and watching them guys was very much a but I think we probably do. We probably have got that fan that thinks that even when we lose a game of football, they blame the weather or they blame a referee's decision. I think I would like to say that we, as a fan base, are quite level-headed fans to a certain degree. I think, in fact, we've got a lot of fans that share very different opinions, but we do also have a lot of fans that are, I would say, level-headed, but at least they stand by their opinions and they want to think. And I've got no opinion. My opinion is my opinion. As I said, I just don't like what we do have at the moment. Is we've got a lot of bickering within a fan base, thinking everyone thinks that they're right. Where sometimes actually we should all agree as a fan that we're not all right. I think some of what we say is right. I think it's all about balance and sort of meeting in the middle. I think what we don't do as a fan base is we don't meet in the middle a lot.
I've forgotten who it was that came out with a statement, but a while back, somebody just came out. Somebody in the know not one of what we'd call in the know, but an actual somebody that works at one of the big clubs, and they just said if fans knew fans basically don't know 95% of what happens behind the doors.
Agreed.
And if you accept that, and I think it's probably wise to, we're always in the dark, so we've just got our fan channels, we've got our opinions, and they're going to be mostly wrong at the end of the day. So we just go with gut feeling, don't we?
Spot on. And this is what I always say to people, by the way. People, I always say it, and I say this I do say this very politely in the sense of when I always say to people, doesn't matter if you've got 1 follower, 100 followers, or 1 million followers. Your opinion's valid. Everyone's allowed an opinion. Doesn't matter how balmy or how mental I think it is, or how Coover thinks, or how much I agree with it or not. It's just your opinion. And I think that is where we need to be at. Let's not push your opinions on everybody else's. We all believe and we all want the same thing. We all want us to win stuff. Do we think we will? Probably not. Have we got any more questions? Has anyone put any questions? Oh. Orsic was a baller talking about the Zagreb game. He plays at Southampton now. I'm shocked he didn't score against us when they drew 3-3. True. I'm shocked by that. Change your photo last one. No. Come on, guys. Put some questions in. Big up to Cash. Big up, mate. Big up. Guys, put your questions in.
Yeah, Jacob saying, Coover, if we're winning, xenophobia will still be within the hearts of a truly sad folk. It's true. You won't. It's a sad, sadly on the rise throughout the world at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
When times are hard, people turn to extremes. So
agreed.
Blame happens on the wrong crowd all the time.
No, agreed. Yeah, anyone doing stuff like that, like, listen, you're just a dick. That's right. If you're resorting into anything like that, if we're having a debate, if anyone's debating and then stuff like that and resorts to stuff like that, you're just a dickhead. Like, I'm just gonna say it, like you are, like. And this is exactly the point when we're all debating and stuff in here, and people start hurling personal attacks at people, start calling people out and stuff like that. What are you doing? Like, come on, we're here. We're meant to be we're all one community. It'd be nice for us all to unite, and you know what? We all want the same cause. We all want the same thing. It's quite. England are playing shortly. That's a good question. Should we talk about it for a second? For why not?
Oh, do we have to?
Go on. Should we just have a little look and see the England team? Should I just read it out to you? Against Italy. Pickford, Walker, Stones, Maguire, Shaw, Phillips, Rice, Bellingham, Saka, Kane, and Grealish.
Saka, Kane, and Grealish is probably worth watching, but not with the rest of that team.
I mean, if you look at who Italy have played, there isn't. If we don't win this game of football,
God, we've got talent in that squad. It's just strangled.
How we've not won a trophy with this England side is balmy. And I've said, look at who Italy are playing. By the way, they've got Donnarumma, Di Lorenzo, Toloi, Acerbi, Spinazzola, Barella, Jorginho, Verratti, Berardi. I'm going to butcher this name. Retegui. Oh, butchered it big time. Plays in Mexico, I want to say that. Oh no, Argentina. And Lorenzo Pellegrini, who I think is a very good football player.
Yes, he is.
I think that if we don't win that game of football,
if you just think that this England crop of players we've got, not necessarily the ones in the team at the moment, but the crop of players in general we've got available. Imagine what somebody like a Pep would do with them at a national level.
Yeah,
a hell of a lot different to what we see, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, I say that it doesn't even have to be Pep Guardiola, but it's just someone that just goes, do you know what? Go out there and play.
Yeah, he's kind of the pinnacle of playing sexy football.
He is. Yeah, agreed. Question from the man himself: what's your ideal formation for Spurs? As long as it hasn't got 3 at the back for me. What about you, Koof?
2 at the back and bomb everybody else forward.
Oh, just go high up and just go. Do you know what? Let's go for it.
Yeah,
I think we should just play. I think we should just play 11 attackers, no goalkeeper. Just go, do you know what? We're going to just attack. We're going to probably concede about 15 goals, but let's just go for it. Why not? I mean, it can't be any worse.
Not quite that bad, but
I mean, we're basically playing with 11 defenders half the time.
Yeah, I'm a massive fan of the Ajax style. Ajax are my second team. And, always believe in the 3-7 formation. We got 3 defensively minded players, and the other 7 are basically a fluid setup of forwards, all looking to attack constantly. I've always believed in that style of play. Take the game to the opposition. Don't play boring crap. Just getting the opponents off and try and attack them better than they attack you. It all makes for great football to watch.
Mad Max has asked a question that I think you just answered. Which club do you both have soft spots for? Who isn't Spurs?
Ajax for a long way.
For me,
if it's Premier, go on. Sorry, go on.
No. I was just going to say, for me, I was going to say my local team back at home, Slough Town, because local, I would go down there in the odd time. But now out here in Barcelona, Espanyol, Royal Club de Deportivo Espanyol de Barcelona. I'll tell you what,
Pochettino's old team, isn't it?
Pochettino's old team, Zabaleta's old team. No, it's good. It's nice. It's nice just watching football. They play nice football. They're not the greatest team in the league by far, but it's just enjoyable watch. It's one thing here, you'll probably understand this, we're talking about the Ajax situation. It's nice watching football, not emotionally invested into it. Like I watch, when I go and watch Espanyol, I don't get sad if they win. I don't go crazy if they, I don't get sad if they lose. I don't go crazy if they win. I just enjoy watching the football. Just nice to go and watch a game of football and just enjoy it and not have any emotional link to it.
Yeah, I'd love to say that, but Ajax lost to Feyenoord the other night, and it hurts. I'm a little bit too invested in them now.
Yeah. No, I know. But my point being more in the sense of like, for example, you'll get over in the morning, you wake up and go, oh, I'm not like with Spurs, like not now anymore. I've kind of lost the sort of, I used to like have a week, the whole week would be destroyed if we lost on Saturday. The whole week was done. I
think if we're talking other Premier League teams or something like that, okay. I really, really have a soft spot for Fulham. If you've ever been to their ground on an away trip,
I've been on their away trip.
The most beautiful stadium. It's
really. I used to live not too far from there. I was that side of London.
They've always been a good family club. It's a nice, pleasant atmosphere. Lovely to watch. It's just an enjoyable thing about Fulham. It's like, I think Danny Baker ages back, he used to say about QPR as well, the same sorts of things. You can't feel bad about them. It's just like it's like an aunt or something. You can never really hate them. They're just there.
No, I would have done Brentford. I would have gone Brentford or Brighton, to be fair, at the moment. I like watching Brighton play.
Definitely.
If I was to pick a team that wasn't in the top 6 to just sit and watch them play, it'd be Brighton all day long. I can watch Brighton play all day. I just enjoy the way they play. I love the fact that they do it a different way. I love the way that they go out there and scout. They are the pinnacle of scouting. Them and Brentford are the pinnacles of scouting in the Premier League. And it really irritates me when people say, we can't, Spurs can't do that. Why can't we? Why can't we go to Venezuela and pick up the likes of Venezuela and pick up the likes of Moise Caicedo? Go to these lesser divisions across South America and Europe and go, do you know what? We're going to just start picking these props up, because it's amazing, because it makes me laugh. People said that you can't do it. Why can't we? We're a bigger club than Brighton. If we can start picking up these lads from these leagues, they're already, just come to Spurs, they're already £50 million players. They go to Brighton, and you could argue
that's just it, isn't it? I mean, when we say things like, "Oh, we should be doing what Brighton do," and people go, "Yeah, but they're only 7th or something like that." It's taken it in context, isn't it? We'd be doing things at a higher level than they are. All due respect to them, we're a lot bigger club than they are. So apply the same principles, you're away.
Yeah, and this is also what I always say, because everyone talks about transfers and stuff like that, and the grandeurs of getting the likes of Vardy, Bastonis, and all this lot. They're the two that I'm just picking out. I mean, we could name a few that I sit there and go, why can't we have got a Vardy before he went to Leipzig? Why can't we be the team that goes and gets Haaland from when he was playing in Norway, when he was playing at Molde? Why can't we be that team? Why does it always seem to be the likes of Dortmund, Brightons and all these teams. Dortmund's the best to emulate. We should be emulating what Dortmund do, because Dortmund don't go out there and spend loads and loads of money. But I would put Spurs and Dortmund on probably the same sort of keel. I think Dortmund probably have achieved more, but I would sit there and argue that their league's not got as much competition in the sort of top echelon.
Dortmund and Ajax, and it's slightly different reasons than just the setup. It's to do with having a club that is the pinnacle of young players. The young players are allowed to. You can get some of the really best talented young players in the world to come to the club with the expectation of getting game time.
Agreed.
And developing into a world-class player. And I'm quite comfortable being a club that does that and then sells them on with great value later on. Yep. I'm okay with that because when it's consistent, you can keep doing well with it. Look at Dortmund at the moment; they're going great guns.
Yeah, look at Brighton. We were heaping all the praise on Brighton. You look at what Brighton do. You think, crap, they've just sold one of their stars that they've just got in for 60 million quid, like Cucurella, or who was the other one that they got rid of recently? Trossard recently was out of contract. They still got like 20 million quid for him. Oh, there was another one, big name. Someone in the chat will hit me with it. Who was it? They went and sold. Who was it of late?
That's
really.
Trossard.
There was one recently they sold.
Basuma, you could say as
Basuma,
well.
So yeah, it may have been Basuma. Basuma. I feel like they sold another one to someone else, but I might be wrong. But you see, my point is you look. Oh no, sorry, no, it wasn't. It was the fact that Caicedo was linked with Chelsea for 80 million quid with him and Arsenal, weren't it? Sorry, yeah, he didn't go in the end. But my point being is that's the sort of relevant sort of understanding of it, that the likes of Caicedo that they signed for 3 million quid 3 years ago is now worth 80. I wouldn't have any issues with that. But the thing is it would also be a bigger step. We're kind of missing that middle step. So we should be that team that goes, do you know what? We're not going to pick teams from here. We're going to pick the teams that team wants to get down here and go, do you know what? The only chance we offload them are if Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Juventus, these elite football clubs go, do you know what? We're going to spend 80 million quid on this player.
And again, what we were talking about it on the several streams, we always come up with the same club, Sevilla. Why can't we get Sevilla? You just aim at that little level below what the elite clubs are doing, because we're not one at the moment. And you just pick up those really talented players, and then you target your domestic cups, and you target things like the Europa League, and you get success out of it. And that success breeds further success. We just don't get over the initial hurdle because we don't try it. We've got a sight set on Champions League football, and that's it, when we've never been prepared for it.
But the Champions League football question is such a debate. Champions League for me is irrelevant unless we're going to actively try and win it. We don't ever look like we're going to win it. When we got, and the thing is before people say, yeah, we got to the final. For me, I look at it and go, we got to the final because of what? How? Because we got a bit lucky. If that was any other team that got to that final, we'd have all said they got lucky there.
And also look at the stat I said the other stream. Since Enoch took over at Spurs, Sevilla have won the Europa League 6 times.
Yep.
6. Unreal. Yeah. I mean, why we can't do something like that, aim for something like that, I don't know.
And just imagine won 3 of them,
domestic trophy it's less than the Champions League. Hasn't got the same prestige, but it's getting better all the time, isn't it? And I always look at the teams that do lift it. You know, Jose goes away, immediately wins the basically the Conference League, which was the old UEFA Cup. Do you look at that team who was start of the European success and tell me they weren't celebrating that?
Mate, Jose Mourinho, who won everything, was crying whilst lifting it. And I think that's what we miss completely as a fan base. We are so ingrained in thinking that let's act like a big club. And that's the key word. We as a fan base and as a football club pretend to be a big club. We're that kind of, well, we've got the nice fancy stadium, we've got Champions League football, but then you look back and go, we don't win anything. Like, I would take winning the Europa League, the Europa Conference League any day of the week. Just lifting a trophy. And do you know what I think? And I always say, managers always come out after their tenures, and they say that first trophy was the key one. The problem where we're stuck in this cycle where we've not got that first one. And I think I sit there back and I think, and I said, if Pochettino had won a domestic trophy, one of those finals that he got to in the domestic cups and won it, I sit back and I think, could that have been the spark that started it all? And the fact that we didn't then get over the line of that, we then didn't get over the line in the league when Leicester won it. We then got beaten by an incredible Chelsea team the season after that. We then get to a Champions League final and don't win that. It spirals, doesn't it? And we built this legacy of not being able to get over the line. And that's not me because, and I hate the term, this bottle job kind of an analogy. I don't think it's fair because there's so many parameters you can use. I thought Liverpool in that Champions League final just played a game to go, do you know what? We're not going to lose it again this year. We lost it to Real Madrid. We're not losing it. We will bore the heck out of everybody just so we win it. And it got over that like sort of thing. But yeah, I'm at that stage where we just need to start actually creating. Here's a good shout as well. Monaco produce so many good players. Yeah. They produce loads. They are spitting out with quality. You could even go back to when we played them in the Champions League. Look who they had. Thomas Lemar, Bernardo Silva. Didn't they have Falcao there at one point? They had
They did, yeah.
There was another young lad that came to the Premier League that they had over there.
Technically, you can even say Glenn Hoddle. He went over to play in Monaco, and he did. I think he did play early start of the Premier League. I think he was like playing sweeper for Chelsea at that point.
Yeah, no, I think they were. That's painful to say. That's the one. The most important one. Someone just put it in the chat. Mbappe. Of course, that's the key one. Yeah, well done. Big up chat. Yeah, that's the big one they produced.
You're right though. There's been so many. If you go looking at the team sheets over the years,
look who was over there as well. Look who's been over there of late as well, and they're still producing stuff.
Mind you, I think they get that advantage of not having to pay tax for. Well, they do, don't they?
Is that actually true? I know they don't pay tax in
Monaco. Yeah,
it's a tax. No, but I didn't know if they still would have had to pay French tax because they're in the French leagues and stuff like that.
I don't know how it works. It's strange, isn't it?
Yeah, no. Let's not delve into the tax.
That's not being in Barcelona. It's probably not a good one to go into geographical politics and stuff, is it?
Minerals has just said put the chat in there. Yeah, go on. You can jump in for a bit. I'm not going to stay on for too much longer, about 15 more minutes if you want to jump in. Your thing was a bit slow earlier. So Minerals, if you want to jump in, go for it, mate. Another name came through. Tielemans came through Monaco as well. He was another one. Who is it? Maximin as well. Yeah. Yeah.
There's a few clubs really seem to have their finger on the pulse of like, these names that keep getting generated by the likes of Football Manager and stuff, and people go, oh yeah, he's on that Wonder Kid list or something along those lines. And then you'll see clubs in reality are actually going for these players and giving them a chance. We never seem to be doing that. We never seem to put a trust in the youngsters. In some ways, it was refreshing to see Mate Sarr coming through, wasn't it? Because we were expecting him to just be benched or loaned out again. But
I think him and Skip, and I know people have differing opinions in him. I don't think he's as bad as I think he gets made out. I think he's actually been okay since coming in. And I sit back and I think about and go, do you know what? Do you just build it with Sarr and Skip and go, do you know what? They're giving my two DMs in midfield. At long term, I'm on about with Basuma in a 3 and go, do you know what? Let's play it from that. Because I don't think they're the greatest, but I tell you what, if we coached them and played them all season, I think they'd get better. Minerals is in, mate. How's it going, mate?
Man, now I'm good. Yeah, now your wife.
Yeah, I can hear you better now. I couldn't hear you earlier.
Because I was at the rest in it. I was at yeah. So like you guys are spot on. Like, where do you guys think you go from here?
Where do you think we'll go?
Yeah, the direction of the club, basically. Is it
Um,
gonna go up or down? Judging by you guys.
go on, Cooper, make you go for it.
The direction of the club. Unfortunately, I think we're going to carry on doing what we always do. That's the sad reality of this club.
I think we're just going to stagnate and it'll be exactly the same. I don't think we're going to go any higher. We're not going to go any lower because I think the expectation is going to be where we're at. I think it's fair to say we are probably the 4th or 5th best team in the league, and I think it's just that. I think we're okay with that.
Exactly. You guys don't want to progress, and that's the problem.
I wouldn't say progression is based on the fan base. I think the progression is more on the sense of what is considered success at board level. And at board level, it's getting over the line within the Champions League, being competitive in the Champions League, and just getting as far as you can in it, and rinse and repeat. I think there's no real difference, mate.
No, but what I'm saying is, like, your fans set the tone, and the board are not following the tone. You know what I mean? And the tone, they're kind of doing it, but some of your fan base want to win the league and this and the other.
Yeah.
Trophies.
No, I think everybody in the fan base wants to win trophies. I don't think there's anyone in our fan base that's going, "No, I don't want to win trophies." I think that's a false illusion that people think that that's the case. I think everyone wants to win I think people have different aspirations on what they want to win. For me, I'm at the point I've always said I'm a realist, and I'll always say domestic trophies have built this football club. We should be always going for it. But I think you've got to remember at the top level, you've got to remember at the top of the level, it's all about where's the financial success. So the thing is managers aren't judged on winning domestic trophies. They're judged on getting to Champions League, and that is exactly it. You don't get sacked if you get knocked out of the 3rd round of the FA Cup, but you get knocked out if you finish 5th. You get sacked for that. I think that's realistically how it works.
You're judged in your league, surely. You know what I mean?
Huh? What's that?
You're judged in your league.
Like, we're judged to get into the Champions League. Yeah, that is what the board's incentives are.
I mean, there's Tim Sherwood's interview on Talksport.
Yeah, brilliant interview. Actually, I thought he was bang on most of what he said.
There's so many harsh truths in there. But when it comes from another manager, basically backing up on things Conte was saying, when Tim Sherwood's also saying it, the only thing that really matters to Levy is to get top 4 because that's where the money is. It's true. It rings true. So there is this attitude from the high ups. It's we're not the only club that thinks that way, of course. I mean, you get a lot of mid-table teams that just that little bit beyond their survival, looking at just survival. The likes of Brighton, Brentford now, they're probably looking nick a European place. Just that brings in a bit of extra revenue, bit of excitement for the fans. But then they'll be locked into that then of they've got to keep doing that because otherwise they're not progressing. They want a little taste of the money coming in. That's the whole idea. Building on your current position. But for us, it's shocking because we've had this massive financial advantage over the vast majority of other teams in the league. Yeah, we should be up there, at least trading in trophies with the big dogs, but we haven't. We've let it slip, and we've let it slip for decades now. I think the real problem when calling out fans now isn't necessarily for it's not even a Levy out debate for me that's I find disappointing with some of the fans. For me, it's the acceptance of we finished 4th. That's about our level, so it's all right. So that being happy about if the football's okay, if I've gone for a nice day out, well, it doesn't matter if we don't win anything. Just I've enjoyed my day out. We're going to have Champions League football again next season. Everything's rosy, and it just isn't for me. There's different mindsets for different fans now.
Yeah, there's different mindsets.
I think exactly. Just to say, we've got Mr. Box Office. Mr. Box Office has turned up. If you don't know, guys, you need to get to know. Welcome, Alex. How you doing, mate?
I just need to say something. It's going to be a quick appearance. I have to be honest here.
I'm going to say I've got to wrap up shortly, but go for it. I love it when you do your like last minute
quick.
appearances.
Well, it's just only a quick appearance because I only do quick appearance now, really, because it's not really worth my salt anymore these days. Anyway, big up to you, Perchy, by the way.
Big up, mate, big up.
And big up to my man Kuva, by the way. Yeah, I love you, Kuva. Yeah, you're the
Hang
best.
on.
But
Yeah, you back out your
I've
name.
got to be honest. I just think Tottenham are at 40. They're just absolute joke. An absolute joke. Yeah, I'm sorry. They deserve everything they're getting at the moment. Yeah, the fact that Conte is riding this out so long, yeah, it just sums it all up. And we're all having a go at him, saying he's too stubborn. Yeah, firstly, he's a winner, right? So whatever you like about him, he's a winner. So he's not going to change his ways, and that's it. Yeah, I know other managers have done it, and that's it, right? Secondly, he ain't stupid. He ain't stupid because right now he's sitting there looking really happy at the moment, isn't he? He's sitting there thinking, well, you're putting me on gardening at the moment. Okay, I'll ride it out for you because at the moment I can get another job. You know what I mean? We are looking at absolute mugs at the moment. The thing that's even more of a joke, Stellini, his assistant, is still taking training for us.
Well, Alex, we were talking about this earlier. I wasn't sure if you're in the chat earlier, but yeah, we were talking about this earlier. This is my theory, by the way. This isn't some sort of in the know anything. My theory is that we've put Conte on gardening leave, and then we're trying to sort out his contract, and that until that's contract situation, and I think we're trying to do him for defamation, and that's why it's taken long. Because I think someone mentioned earlier in the chat, guys, was that why are we hearing radio silence? When things like this are happening, you're going to hear absolutely nothing because nothing is going to get leaked. Nothing is going to. There'll probably only be It'll probably only be Perchy and Levy that know about what's going to happen. I don't think anything will get leaked. We will find out. There's a reason why he's probably gone back to Italy because he's probably, as I said, been put on gardening leave until it's sorted, and then we'll get sacked. Once they figure it out.
There's another reason that's occurred to me a while ago today. Why it's so difficult for this transition for another manager to come in. Do you remember one of the stipulations Conte had, and the big arguments are having at why he wouldn't come in the first place, is he wanted so many of his own people in the coaching positions. If he leaves now and they all go, that's a hell of a lot of roles to suddenly fill. Where are we going to get them from?
They're going to have to be ripping up a lot of contracts. And the thing is they will go.
It's not even just that. It's just the whole thing is an absolute joke. And they're thinking about taking them Tuchel. It's just honestly, you couldn't even make it up. You couldn't even make it up. And then people say to me, well, it's a Champions League winner. Okay, Champions League winner. Okay, let's make it up right now, yeah? Okay, let's look at it right now, yeah? We've had two managers that are winners, and we don't listen to them, yeah? Right? That are very heated. Tuchel's the same, yeah?
Yep.
You know what I mean? The thing is, people back Levy, by the way, yeah, and saying, "Oh, this is a great project, really good project at the moment. We've got the staging, we've got everything else." Why do you think we're making so much mistakes at the moment? By the way, yeah, because we're funding it. We're funding it at the moment. We're literally funding it. Yeah, literally funding it because. Let's be honest here, yeah. We'd be in debt if we didn't have the things that we've got at the moment. Let's be honest here, with the amount of money we have to pay off. You know what I mean?
Excellent.
With all the concerts and everything else. You know what I mean? Because I'll tell you now, we'd be making more money, yeah, if we were actually sensible with it, rather than what we're doing at the moment, paying off managers most of the time. Because I still think we're still paying off Pochettino.
Well, it's quite incredible. I did read. Pochettino's new contract that he signed when he was at the club, his final contract, ends at the end of the summer, by the way. So he'll be out of contract at the end of the season. We can bring him back.
Technically, we could be employing him for a second time while paying.
We'll be renewing his contract, ironically, whilst we've already had 3 managers in the middle of it. It's incredible.
Don't get me started with the whole thing with Mason. Don't get me started with Mason because I'm sorry, that stinks of a couple of seasons ago again. And I'll tell you now. It stinks of it. It absolutely stinks of it. And I'll tell you now, right, because we can't sort out Conte, there'll be another 6 weeks, 10 weeks trying to find a new manager because they're all telling that all the managers are sitting there thinking, do I really fancy that? Not really. Don't really fancy that at the moment. Nah. Nah, I don't think because my reputation will go downhill. Look at Nuno's reputation so far. Has it really flourished? Yeah, he's won a trophy again. Tottenham looking bang average again, aren't they? You know what I mean?
Alex, I'll give you a question. We were talking about it just earlier. I'll be the final one because I have got to shoot off this, but because I've got to run off. But if Ryan Mason got the job, hear me out. And we said, you know what? Our plan is to go. We're going to spend 5 years with Ryan Mason. We're going to let him learn at the helm. He can have his staff, who he wants in charge in the back room. And the plan is the idea is to promote youngsters and progress. We're going to gut out a lot of the big earners. We're going to gut out a lot of players that you could, in air quotes, have egos and problems. And we said, you know what? We're not unless we don't avoid relegation. We're going to keep them there. It doesn't matter if we finish 4th or 14th. Hear me out. But the long-term project is we're going to we're looking over the road, what's happening at Arsenal, and going, do you know what? We're going to do what they did. We're going to take short-term pain for long-term gain. Would you have that?
Do you have that, Alex?
It's a massive risk.
No. It's a massive risk, but it's also a massive risk getting in proven winners was a massive risk.
No, I'm not. I think you're on you got a good idea there, but it's a massive risk. Because let's be honest,
I agree.
Here, with what we've done at the moment, we've relied on Harry Kane so long, yeah, and that's the only reason why we're top 4. Okay, I'm repeating myself again because Mr. Box Office always has to do it every single time. You know what I mean? And that's it, really. Yeah, big up to my man Minerals, by the way. Yeah, big up to you, bruv. By the way, yeah. Thanks for supporting the channel as well, bruv. But
England 1-0, by the way.
Well, I don't do international football anymore these days. But anyway, but I've got Tottenham on my mind too often, unfortunately. But like I said, I just don't see the point. And as I said, it's an absolute mess. The fact that the players are having an effect on Daniel Levy's having a conversation saying, "Oh, do you want to sack Conte, please? Do you want to sack Conte?" Sorry, these players have been throwing these managers under the bus for how many years? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
including your star player Virgil van Dijk. But anyway, we don't need to go on that one, don't we? But the point I'm making is, it's just an absolute joke, and the fact is, Antonio Conte's rant, has made a lot of shockwaves in the football world at the moment. Everyone's talking about it. It's embarrassing the club. And you'll be surprised. I'll be surprised if anyone wants to touch this club with a barge pole. I'll tell you now for a fact, because it's no surprise Harry Kane has not said did he squat. Yeah, he got Rice to do his interview. Yeah, that's how much he didn't want to talk about it. But it's funny how
is that true?
Well, no, because he's the captain of England, bruv. So why is he not?
Yeah, but the play they rotate it. Not the captain doesn't just do it. It's rotated between players normally.
Well, it's a bit funny that it's happened today, isn't it? Let's be honest here. It's a bit funny, isn't it?
Yeah, Let's be honest. But I am right in saying that they do rotate it. So it might be rotated,
but it's a bit ironic, though, isn't it? Come on now. Let's be honest here.
God, Tin Hat. We might have to start calling you Tin Hat instead of calling you Flip Flop.
You can read between the lines very, very easily. You know what I mean? Because Kulusevski and Højbjerg were quite happy to say what they needed to say.
Yeah, I've heard about that. That was, but listen, Alex, mate. A lot of stuff I do actually, I think, bang on. I mean, I'm not. Some of the stuff you say, I do think isn't true. But listen, you're always welcome on my channel anytime, mate. Because I love it.
Perchy, mate. Like, Alex always talks facts, man. He's got the memories. He lands it everywhere he goes. You know what I mean? Mud to the wrong ones. And
if you don't know, you got to get to know.
Sorry. Exactly. And
but listen, guys, I'm everyone in the chat. I am going to wrap up. I'm going to leave Kuva, mate. Listen, you come on. Thank you very much for coming on. We'll have to do this again, mate. We've got to do it again. Definitely, it's been fun. Like talking about this stupid football club, about how absolute car crash it is. Mr. Box Office is always absolutely legendary. Absolutely brilliant, mate. No, but definitely we have to do it again, though. It'd be good.
Yeah. Just talk football generally is good.
Yeah, we just talk. Mr.
Good,
Box
man.
Office down here, man. This guy is the man. If you
Don't
have,
know.
guys, if you're in the chat and you haven't subbed to this man, what is wrong with you? By the way, sort it out. This guy's a top draw. And Minerals,
Yeah,
mate.
man.
Always a pleasure to have you on, man. Big up, mate. Listen, you can come on anytime. Always welcome to have your opinion. I might do this again every Thursday. I might do this every Thursday. Just a bit of a sort of a spontaneous, throw the chat in, and if you want to come into the chat, we can just talk crap and about
Do
football for a
some
couple hours.
content on the weekend, innit? Like, do some content on the weekend.
Yeah, we'll get some stuff out. No, but I think on a Thursday we just do this every Thursday for a bit of a laugh. Just no plan, nothing to just you know what, whatever people ask questions and have a go. Everyone, if you're still in the chat, guys, big up. Thank you very much for coming. Everyone that's left questions, comments, chat amongst yourselves and stuff and all that. Massive thank you for coming on, guys. Listen, it's been a pleasure. I'll leave you guys to it, and I'm going to shoot. Big up. Peace.
Hey.